Welcome to Blabbing for Britain. It's Thursday, and it's a Thursday before Easter, and we're raring to go. One of us is. I'm a bit worse for wear. We'll talk about that possibly later. Yes, good morning. We can talk about anything and everything today. And if you're coming and joining us on camera, then please do so. We're recording for about half an hour. After the half hour, we shall go off camera, off video. When you won't appear on YouTube, we can come on camera and talk about anything and everything. Just a quick look at who's here today. Are you all familiar with the system, the ones that are showing up? Welcome, Mr. Wilcox. Good morning, sir, and good morning to everyone who's with us today. Well, John, anything happening in your world that we should...
Nothing fantastic, exciting. Strange call from Virgin Media yesterday.
Oh,
they wanted me to spend a penny, but not that kind of spend a penny. For a penny, I'm having my broadband upgraded to 200 meg.
That's a number I've never heard of before. It can't be true. They're having you on. Nobody gets 200 meg.
Well, it's happening next Tuesday, so we'll see.
Oh, right. Okay. So if you want 200 meg...
72 at the moment, so it's not a massive increase.
From where I'm sat, it's a massive increase. You can only aspire to those bandwidths out here in the sticks, in the countryside, in wonderful Wiltshire, in the middle of nowhere. Right. Okay. Blab-wise, nothing's really happened this week, which has been good. Everything seems to be working and stable, and all the recordings are turned up on time, and there are no problems with the system at all. The only thing that we noticed, we were able to use the drop-in this week with Paul, when John and I were on air with Paul, which was brilliant, and it works seamlessly. You know, the drop-ins work. Now, the problem comes that people are wondering, now we've got this wonderful drop-in feature, what do we do? Okay, because now we've got it, what do we do with it? Now, when we talked about Thryyve earlier in the week, it was easy and straightforward because Paul already had several videos which are part of the Thryyve introduction and training that were able to drop those in. Now, of course, we're told that it could be for copyright reasons that we can't record that. So, but live, that was an ideal situation to use them. Yeah.
And I used it yesterday for business.
Oh, okay.
I've just done 2 relatively simple videos for someone that show their product range off. And we sat at the bottom, and he was up in Walsall, and I showed him them live, and we talked live about what did he want changing. He didn't want anything changing, which was the best bit. But yeah, so a real live business use. Instead of me sending him off, him calling me back,
yeah,
I dropped it in, and away we went.
Oh, that's brilliant. And a question from Stephen, was that public?
Well, I guess it was, but we didn't record it or anything. No. And there was nothing in it that we wouldn't want everybody to see, because the whole idea is to show everybody what he does.
Oh, true. Yes. See,
if somebody watched it, we wouldn't have been upset.
We do have a weird situation at the moment on Blab, in that you can't really search for anything. I mean, if I search John Upton, I can find your profile, no problem at all, in the search box that's up on the front screen. If I search for Stephen, I can find Stephen. If I search for Peter, I can find Peter. What I can't find is a list of their Blabs on at the moment. And the screen's only showing a restricted list of Blabs live now from people I know. Yeah? So we're only seeing part of the picture. So if you start a Blab now and you don't advertise it, nobody can see it. So you can broadcast in public, as John did, and nobody knows you're there, except your friends, of course. And you've got tests along the bottom, so they're going to say, right, okay, John's testing, and that's fine. So hopefully we're looking for the categories to come back, but it is well stable now. The other thing that happened over the weekend to me, and Ileane came and knocked on my door Monday morning. She said, "Do you realise you've got 2 Blabs running?" I said, "No, I didn't think I had 2 Blabs running." What happened was I was testing an idea of mine. I've got this wacky idea for a Sound of the 60s show. So playing videos from the 60s. So I've got my hit list together. No problem on that score. I was there. So I did opened a show and I tested the videos to make sure they work. Because obviously the thing about YouTube is that the video won't show all around the world if it doesn't have the right country settings. Yeah, so I wanted to make sure at least they played in the UK. 1 or 2 of them didn't, so that was good. I exited the show, but I forgot to close the window with the YouTube video in it.
Oh, right.
And if you exit,
advertising going on, eh?
So if you exit the show and you don't close the window before you go, then the show continues, and whoever comes in can come into the room and play the video you were playing. Yeah. So So I had 2 of those shows going, so I closed them both down. And then on Tuesday night, I was watching BTS Live replay, and they were having problems. Yeah. So BTS Live is our, not to put too fine a point on it, BTS Live are the guys who do broadcasting professionally. And they run shows which you can learn things on, simple as that. And they were replaying their Friday show, and they were having problems, and help were in there, Blab help were in there, and they couldn't work out what the problem was, because obviously there was a YouTube video which was replaying. So I thought this is an opportunity not to be missed, and hopefully Paul will appreciate this. So I opened a replay of my chat with Paul, and it just had the YouTube video playing, and myself in the seat, and then down the right hand side I had links to Thryyve, and the other side, just to placate Ileane in case she found it, I said this is a test, okay? And the video was there for anybody to come in the room and replay, and you did, so you did found me.
Yes, what are those?
Wise. So it is being used for free advertising. People are saying best of and replay, and some of the rooms on Blab are now actually hosting replays of things. Now, unfortunately, the other thing that Sky is good for is what's fortunately most of the time, but unfortunately, it's good for screening live events. And they have the Sky News feed in here, not in this particular Blab, but in other Blabs, so that people around the globe can see what the European coverage is of the bombings in Belgium. And that means that people can get together and discuss things. So it was a good use of it, but an unfortunate incident to have taken place. In other news, NASA have been using it here as well. And in other news, SAP are here. SAP are using it to interview people from around the world. So it's good to see SAP adopting the platform. So the more...
That's the software house, SAP.
There's only one SAP. They do the software that does
trees, isn't there?
SAP write the software which does 100% of everything of what you want to do, but in actuality you only use 20% of the software.
That sounds like Microsoft Word, doesn't it?
And it's very good and very expensive. My manufacturing software compared to theirs, let's just say mine works, no bells and whistles, and it's a little bit cheaper, but I'm not advertising that today. Yeah. No, I'm looking at, last week, I went and had a look at the BBC website and got several topics, and I can't do that today because there's only the one topic. So we're on our own. We've got to make it up as we go along.
Only one topic on the BBC?
Well, there's only one main topic unless you want to talk.
Which obviously is the bombings.
Yeah. That's your phone, John. It's not mine.
I can't turn it off, and if I don't answer it, it won't go away.
Mine's not switched on. No, mine.
Oh, it's a recorded message telling me it's an important announcement.
All right, okay, good.
It was. It's not anymore.
All right, okay.
New Zealand votes to keep its flag.
Thank you. That was magic. I've made that just reminds me. You are now a host, John, and I wasn't panicking, honest, at 9:59, but I made Stephen a host too, and that is why. New Zealand votes to keep its flag officially. Well, there you go. I think that there's the connection between the UK and New Zealand is a very strong one, and between the UK and between New Zealand and our royal family is very strong. And the same's true in Australia as well, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, we've got family in Australia, and they say that the Queen isn't held that highly as sometimes the papers and the press make out. Yeah. Celia's brother emigrated there 20 odd years ago, and she talks to him occasionally, I would say now, not as regularly as she used to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know Australia is not New Zealand and vice versa, but for the New Zealanders to vote to keep their existing flag means that the Commonwealth is alive and stays alive.
I'm looking a little mystified because it's telling me in the bottom right-hand corner that one person is calling in, and it's me, and I'm already here.
You are. We can hear you. I was panicking, Stephen. I really was.
Well, earlier, you must have known I'd been in because you could see all of the messages sent out to tell everybody.
No, that would be beautiful if you put the time you sent it.
Oh, right.
It didn't. It just said John has post on Facebook. John's post on Facebook. So that was fine. Right, next topic, please, Stephen. No, well, Stephen's sort of next topic. I mean, don't you love it when your browser actually splits into two and your Chrome tab becomes a Chrome window, and you've then got to hop between two windows? It's useful when you want it to happen. It's a pain in the derriere when you don't, because now I've got to flick from one window to another and flick back again, and it looks a bit rude to be you know, doing that sort of thing. Right, okay.
Our good friend Annie was in a panic this morning.
Oh, why?
She'd discovered her Facebook had gone all French.
Pourquoi?
And she didn't know why. It's now back in English, but she cannot think of any rhyme or reason as to why it went French.
No, it's a particularly strange thing because she's from Ileane and she's living in the UK at the moment.
Well, I've told her that that Facebook knows that the next destination the family are moving to is clearly Paris.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
I thought I was going to pay something in. Did anybody see Trainy McTrainface yesterday?
Oh yes, after Boaty McBoatface. Yeah, do you have a photo? I do have a video.
Do I have a photo?
It's a very dangerous thing to actually put anything out to a public vote. And the naming of the vessel, £220 million it cost.
Don't know whether this will work, but let's have a go.
£220 million the vessel costs, and if the public have their way, when it's launched, it will be launched as Boaty McBoatface. Not to be outdone though, John.
Trainy McTrainface.
Yes. Who said we're not original in the UK? And that was well received by the passengers.
It went down brilliantly, apparently. Loads and loads of tweets about it. Yeah, and positive comments from the train company. I doubt that they could say anything negative about the guard on the basis of so many good things have been said about him.
Right. Now, which brings me to my point, which I've forgotten all about, so I'm now back on the sip of coffee. Dropping things in there, if you drop an HTTP in there, you just get the URL. If you drop an HTTPS in there, you get the contents. So, for those of us who are just HTTPs, how do we become HTTPSs? That's one for you, John.
Well, you've got to buy haven't you got to buy a certificate to have an HTTPS? It's never been a problem in the past, because everybody who I've done any shopping with has used PayPal, so they haven't really bothered about security. But there's a current bit of stuff going around saying that you'll rank higher if you're an HTTPS as well.
Well, there's a practical thing here. If you've got a certificate and you've got the HTTPS and you drop your link in here, it will show the page in full, and people, independent of us being on hosts, can scroll around. And the practical point of view is that if you can put an active page in there and you're talking about your email list, drop the link to your email list into that screen and people can sign up whilst you're talking. Now, there is no greater marketing tool than that. So I see a rush of Blab presenters going to go, I need HTTP, I need it yesterday. And it obviously helps, because you can drop a live link in there, you know, and then it helps to get people onto your list or whatever. I mean, if you want to show people your website, you want people, yeah. So from a practical point of view, if you want HTTPS, you buy a certificate, and that's renewable annually. Is that correct? Does anybody know?
Most people's hosting comes with a certificate, and they don't realise it. I mean, I only get one for my server, but if you buy hosting from some of these GoDaddies, etc., they quite often chuck a certificate in.
Right. Okay.
Free for the first year, and then obviously it costs you money in the second year.
That's a mini under of Stephen, and Stephen can offer hosting HTTPS for free. Well, that sounds good. Okay. Yeah, or perhaps as well as that, if you want to just, because we're open to promotion of friends here, if you want to put /Q with the link, Stephen, then people can take a look. And it'll come as a question, and you know, very good. Okay, right.
So we're on hosting as a topic, Stephen.
Yes, sure.
Which service do you use to host your development stuff?
Development stuff?
Well, your you develop SQL Server stuff. You do that on a server, or do you do that using a Microsoft supplied service or a Amazon?
I was on SQL Server, and I developed my software, and we have the same problem we've got with Blab, actually. Well, it's worse than that. There's no call for critical systems to be in the sky yet. Customers just don't want to put everything that's on their land-based server into the sky when it is critical, when it's stock, when it's customers, when it's invoicing. It's not happening. Sage are obviously pushing it, but it's a very slow adoption rate, because the thing is, not everybody has got a 200 meg bandwidth, and certainly some of the businesses out from Birmingham, even 20 miles out from Birmingham, then internet is not reliable. And if you've got 20 people using a system, and the system is live and it's crucial, and there's somebody coming for a delivery now, and the system says, hang on, I'm not online at the moment. I mean, you can do hybrid systems, a whole range of things, but it's too costly. It's too costly, people don't trust it. There's the two problems with the cloud at the moment. If you ask people to put a CRM system up there, or to put spreadsheets and Word and Google Docs and Word documents, there's no problem at all. But if you ask people to put down day-to-day operational systems, whether they be in retail or distribution or manufacturing, then the cloud's got a credibility problem and a speed problem. That's my 2 pennies.
I've just started playing with SQL Server on Amazon S3. That was the...
All right, okay. Off you go then. My rant's over. You can go.
No. For a non-critical application, you can get a really cheap server that you can pay very little for. You only pay when you use it. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
And if you want to send bulk emails out, one of the biggest problems is that some idiots, rather than unsubscribing, they'll complain about the email, and before you know it, you're on a spam list.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Getting your server onto a spam list can affect your other customers. Yeah. And I've got one client who's been sending out small bulk, but still bulk emails that's ended up getting his own IP on 6 lists, and now quite a lot of his customers are not receiving his emails. Quite silly. So I've been trying to persuade him that for a small price he could move off there and do his mailing on something he could throw away if it ended up on a blacklist, and just set another. It doesn't take long to set a bin, as they call it, up, and that would be perhaps more sensible than getting yourself alienated from some of his larger customers who really do have proper spam filtering and use blacklists as part of their filtering exercise. Yeah. So we're just having to play with it to see what it can achieve.
Well, for that sort of thing, as you say, it works. I mean, as broadband improves throughout the country, I can see the take-up improving as well. But for the moment, if you're a Azure developer, then you might not be making a living at it. Although probably somebody's going to come along in a moment and say, yes, you are. You're in the wrong places, you're writing the wrong software. But I'm quite happy. My software works on SQL Server, and no problem with that.
We're just using a SQL Server based mailing system that's got lots of facilities, but is reasonably priced.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Prices
called down, Smart Serial Mailer, for anybody who's interested in a bulk mailer system. Yeah. Sorry, Stephen, I talked over the top of you again.
No. I still, do you have a link, John?
Sorry?
A link to the system you just mentioned? That's all? We'll make it a link.
I'm sure I can do that.
Okay, and all right. Just trying to find something of important. Right, we'll record from the 5 minutes or so, and then we'll come off there and people can join us. Yeah. Oh, right, okay, and just reading the comments. Blabbing Mr. Blabbface. Yes, I'm sure we could have a share. All right, thanks, John. Yes, okay, and that's low cost and effective.
Piece of German engineering, very good.
Right. Okay.
And if you have a very small volume, they'll sell you a really cheap version that works with an access style file, or even a CSV. The Talkinator, he cometh.
Yep.
Hello.
Hi, Peter.
Oh, sorry, I was just waking up all these SQL things and stuff like that. So I thought I'd come in and speak about something else. What are we going to speak about?
Right.
They're the poisons of our marketplace.
Right, so my videos, my little videos that I've been putting out, the guys were singing the tune that I was singing, John and all that, singing it in Prague on a stag night. We are the mousy men, we are the mousy. But they're getting known, the videos are asking locally, they're asking me to put up more. And so I'm very pleased with it. Yeah. So there you go. Now, question for you guys. Do you know how many people are using Blab in Britain?
No.
It's not a lot, is it?
We have a guess. No, we're early adopters.
Right. Because I was speaking to a chap from Lanzarote that I know, and he works with the hotels and things there. and I was going to be taking him on later once we build up some people so he can come and talk about Lanzarote, and he's also got what do you call it, a newsletter and things like that. And Lanzarote is a nice place, so it was just one of the things I was going to get him to come and talk and sell Lanzarote when he comes into me talking and stuff like that, just think of different ideas. But he's quite astute. He says, how many people are on Blab? And I don't think there's all that many.
Right, now you asked the question, how many people in the UK?
Yeah.
And we'd have to say, yeah.
Well,
And
Mr.
that one.
Wilcox says there's 2.
I think.
The thing is, there's 6 of us in the conversation. I don't know how we can reach that conclusion.
No, we know there's at least 6. You can see them all at the top of the screen.
Right. So, and to be honest, is it that poor?
No, there are thousands of people on Blab. At the moment, there are, stats-wise, 7,000 Blab shows a week. They're growing at 7%.
Right.
The only problem that we have in accessing the shows is we've no real search facilities. We can't find out who's on, but we do know there's 7,000 shows a week, and they're growing at 7%, which is a growth figure we should all aim for.
Okay.
So if you come on, I mean, if you okay, his question is it worth my while, isn't it? I mean, that's what he's asking. Now, that's a fair question. If you advertise your show, then we've seen shows being watched by 1,600 people live. Okay, we know that.
This one.
Oh no, not this one. We've got so close to 100, so close to 100 people watching the show. So, as mere mortals and not being gurus, if you post a show on here, then as we know, we can get up to 100 people watching the live show. Right. And we've exceeded that in some cases.
Okay.
Then the thing is, this is only the beginning. You then say, right, okay, I've got the MP4, which Blab sent to me. I'm going to put it on YouTube. And you put it on YouTube, and depending how well you promote it, you can get hundreds of views on YouTube, depending how your channel's doing. You then say, right, okay, I've done YouTube today. Tomorrow I'm going to put it on Facebook, and you put it on the replay on Facebook. And again, depending on however you promote, you can have a couple of hundred. Right, it depends what the Blab is about, the video is about, but you can get more on Facebook than you can on YouTube, and vice versa, depending on the topic. Yeah. Right, if it's a pure business topic, then YouTube does better. If it's a social topic, Facebook does better.
Right, so what I'm thinking about is, as I told you before, the Talkinators talking, come on. So there would be other avenues to promote it. Listen, we're going to be on at 7 o'clock in the evening, Monday night. We're going to be on at 7, and use emails and use Facebook and use everything to tell them about Blab, and just say, go on Blab, how's Blab, go on. You'll find us at 7 o'clock. It'll say live or coming up.
Yep.
Different ways to market it in the future.
Yep.
You know? It's such a good platform. It's a shame that, and I find this with Skype and everything. Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I've heard of that. And it's quite a stable platform by the looks of it.
Yeah.
And, so it's just, I think there's a lot of promotion to be done, really, isn't there?
There's a lot of it, promotion, education, getting the word out, just repetition. It needs. I don't think we're going to get a marketing campaign. They expect it to grow virally. That's what this 30-second thing is about. Share the last 30 seconds, which I'm going to do now, of course. Now I'm talking about it. If you want to promote this show and get more people watching it, then copy the title, which I'm trying to do. Right. And having copied the title, press share the last 30 seconds, post in the title, and share it wherever you want, and that's it. The 30-second thing is to get people interested.
Okay.
But I think they're discovering that more people click the GIF, if you remember the GIF, than clicking the video.
Right.
Because the GIF, you just clicked on it and it was there, nothing to do. But nobody's going to go through their Twitter feed watching 30-second videos. At least I don't.
Yeah.
Clicking the GIF, yes, because I know it's going to be. The odds are it'll be amusing.
I personally think that traditional, right? I know about you every 10 o'clock now, right?
Yep.
For instance, see the other night I came on with you were talking, I came in late.
The other night when we talked.
Yeah, you were talking to someone, right? Interviewing them, right?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, at the top.
Yeah, I didn't come in till late because I didn't get the link till that time.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So I didn't. So I think if I do something in the future, I think I'll have to use traditional methods as such, emails, Facebook, to get people there. Even text, hey, I'm going to be doing this thing. Get on here at 7 o'clock. You know.
Yeah.
So I think there's got to be a mix of marketing and not obviously just don't depend on Blab at the moment.
True, yeah. I mean, there is a case for a Blabbing for written email list on an HTTPS site, which we can just drop in, and then people can sign up while we're live on air, and we can send them an email before the show, even before the show starts. What do you think, John?
Better get that Blabbing for Britain show written on a website, haven't I?
Hold on, guys. I've just got one of the guys coming out of the back. I'll put one myself.
Okay. Right. Okay. Well, I'm going to stop.
Can we just talk about social media for a second?
Yeah,
just before you take it off recording. Did anyone see the footballer Robbie Savage's show on social media that went out on Tuesday night?
No.
I'm going to drop a link in here and suggest that it's worth a watch, particularly if you've got children.
Okay.
So it's the week in, week out, the savage world of social media. And for once, a play on his name is actually quite relevant when you see some of the case studies that actually are in there. And it does try and show a positive side of social media, but it does show you some of the negative things that have happened to people through social media. It mainly is about people a lot younger than us.
Okay.
But there is some interesting stuff in it, and it's well worth the watch.
Right.
I bit over.
Well, I'm going to click to view, and then I'm going to click my Evernote button and save it into Evernote. That's done. There you go. That was simple. So there you go. I think saving it for later. I got to admit this. I save things for later. You can save things for later on Facebook. You can save things for later on The Guardian. You can save things for later in Evernote. You can bookmark things. Who finds time to go back to them?
That's right.
I looked at my saved list in Facebook the other day and thought, what the heck have I saved half of these things for anyway?
Quick question to you, Stephen.
Yes, surely.
Do you know anybody that does SharePoint development?
SharePoint developers. Do we know any SharePoint developers, John? No.
Okay.
No. I mean, if you ask the question in prospect networking, Peter, I mean, there's as we know, there's 400 odd people.
Alan McInnes came on a couple of weeks ago. He was looking for a shareware developer for somebody to make
okay.
You know.
Did I mishear there?
Very good. Right. So, how many people have you got coming to your show now? Then is it building up, or is it?
It varies. It varies. As we said, we've got close to 100, and then we're regularly pulling 30 odd people, which is not bad, really. We'll settle for that whilst Blab is in beta. But as you say, it is a case for getting the Blabbing for Britain email list working, and also making greater use of Thryyve to cover our
find the right people.
Yes.
I've just passed Thryyve on to a guy that knows quite a lot of stuff in this. As if he had Thryyve, and so I think he's away looking at it now. And he's over there in I know a few people in Lanzarote now, and just ways they're looking to get Lanzarote promoted, and he's in the hotels and things, and I've got a friend there, and he took me around Lanzarote, and there was no way that I would have enjoyed it as much if it wasn't for him, because it's a volcano. But he showed me everywhere, and he takes people out, and it was absolutely brilliant. And there was just no way that I would have been able to learn as much as that from him. So that's why I wanted to do these sort of things as well.
Lanzarote is a beautiful place, Peter. You could actually retire there when the time comes. And in fact, I may do so, because the people, the weather, the food. There's a beautiful place in the volcano, which is not active. You can climb up to the top of that, and it's good. I know somebody on the island as well, who has contacts on the island, and Steve was good to show us around. So yes, and we both help Steve occasionally. So that's networking, helping people, and it's good to hear that Thryyve has made it to Lanzarote. Well, there you go. Right, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch the recording off and say thank you to everybody who's been watching. You can catch the replay as well, but for the moment we are going